Hey everyone, Leanne Pilkington here with the latest Courageous Conversation. And with me, I have Ann-Maree Imrie. Hi, Ann-Maree. How are you?
Good. Thanks, Leanne. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for taking the time. Now, you and I connected very recently over your current project, which is called the Baby Loss Project. Can you tell me what that's all about?
Yes, the Baby Loss Project is an online training program with the goal of upskilling employers to confidently and compassionately and proactively respond to the employee experience of baby loss in the workplace. So anything from miscarriage, stillbirth, neonatal death, any kind of baby loss in the workplace. And the idea is for companies to be able to upskill around the development of appropriate policies. A lot of companies don't have really solid policies in place around baby loss. So just getting that in place so they're able to respond proactively and be on the front foot when this happens in their workplace. And also just basic grief education. So how to support someone emotionally, a staff member, and the surrounding team when this happens in your workplace. So
because it's not, you're right. I mean, obviously, it's tragic for the person that is going through it, but for the rest of the team who can quite often be very close to the person, they've not really got any idea on what to do or how to talk about it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. If people haven't experienced it or been around someone who's experienced it, or they don't have much knowledge around grief, which is not an individual problem, it's a societal problem. We're not well versed in grief in Western culture, so we often don't know what to say, and that's when people either bring out those terrible platitudes like everything happens for a reason.
Or I know how you feel. It's like, no, I don't think you do.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. And I mean, the other problem is that people know that that's not the right thing to say, but they don't know what is, so they freeze and don't say anything, which can be equally as painful.
It can be just as bad, right? And so what is the right thing to say?
I think grief is such an individual and personal experience, so it's hard to give an answer on that because it varies from person to person, and what is meaningful for one person might not be for the next. But the important thing is about just being able to sit in the discomfort of somebody else's pain, holding space for their grief, and just not being in a rush to fix or solve. That's the most important thing.
And that's what you mean by holding space, right? Just being there to listen and not trying to solve it or fix it, just being there.
Yep, absolutely. And really, I mean, initiating the conversation, don't wait for somebody else to bring it up. But once you do, really take their lead on the type of language that they're using, how much they want to talk about it or not in the workplace, and what their needs are around their grief.
Yeah. And so is it worth actually just asking, saying to somebody, look, I really just don't know what to say, but please tell me how I can help you at work?
Yeah, in terms of, I guess it kind of varies depending on what your connection is to the person who's experienced it. In a management role, I think it's important to have some structure around those conversations and plan them, and have a meeting where you sit down and really offer options to your employee around, these are the types of things we can do to support you. How would you like to go from here, and how can we do this together and come up with a plan collaboratively? Because often if you say to somebody who's so deep in grief, who's just lost their baby, what do you need? They don't know,
I've got no
because
idea.
all they want,
need my baby back.
All they want is their baby. Spot on. They just want their baby back.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
And so tell me, how did it come about? How did the project come about?
Well, I have a personal experience. I'm actually a social worker, and I have training in grief and loss.
Okay.
And when I was working in that space, I was pregnant with my first son, my first baby, and he was stillborn. And that was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
I had an incredible experience with my workplace. I was so well supported. They gave me so much flexibility around my return to work and offered me a completely different position when I wasn't able to do the grief support work that I had been doing.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And so, yeah, because I was grieving myself, I thought I'm not much use to anyone else at the moment in that space. So, it became really important to me to share that and for other people to have an experience as great as what I did, because it was a huge part of my healing, my workplace. But that experience, my experience, is generally not the norm, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, you were in the. You would hope that you were in the right sort of environment with the right kind of people that understand that, right? So, when you were going through it, did you recognise that you were having a good experience with your workplace, or was it only afterwards when you could reflect on it?
Oh, probably more after the fact. I was just in such deep grief. And I mean, there were a few details that needed to be ironed out at the time, like just in terms of leave and parental leave payment and stuff like that. So like there were tiny little bumps, but it was more, I guess, after I was granted the leave and then when I returned to work, I started realising, wow, this is pretty incredible, the support I'm receiving here. And then looking back on that now, years later, years out from my experience, and having had conversations with many, many other bereaved parents and hearing their experiences, I realise even more so how lucky I was.
Yeah, right.
I did.
So how did you kind of navigate from this being an idea to making it a reality?
Worked with two very incredible mentors, Paula and Maddie. So I started working with them 2 years ago, and I'm now just in the last 12 months working with Maddie alone. And I started with them. I'd already started doing professional speaking and sharing my story in the media and raising awareness and advocating for stillbirth. I'd already published a children's picture book for bereaved parents.
Oh, wow, that's great. Okay.
Yes, and so I'd started doing some things in the space, and I just wanted to do something bigger. I just had a dream of shifting the public conversation around stillbirth and bringing it out of the shadows into the light, taking all the fear out of it, and just shifting the conversation. And so I knew I wanted to reach a lot of people and educate people in a compassionate way, not in a way that is angry and ranting at people and telling them they're doing it wrong, but in a way that makes them feel supported and willing to engage and wanting to help and make change. So lots of different ideas were tossed around about how to do that, and eventually landed on the idea of doing an online training program. Which has worked out perfectly given the current climate that we're in now.
Totally, yeah.
And so then it just was about breaking down the key points that are important for businesses to know and start creating content and bringing other experts in so that the program has enough depth and breadth, and it's not just me and my opinion and my perspective and my training and experience. So, just kept building on it from there.
And how long did it take?
Oh, well, it's been 2 years in the making because I was working and having other babies. And,
yes, exactly. So, yes.
Yes, and so I've actually just I launched a Kickstarter campaign to sort of start that, creating that community of early adopters, and also to receive funding in order to create the training program professionally, having it professionally filmed and edited, and that has been successful. We reached our funding goal yesterday afternoon.
Oh, congratulations. Incredible. So how do you go about getting funding for something like this?
So the idea, Kickstarter is actually a really good platform because it's not a fundraising platform, although there is an element of that for friends and family who just want to donate. But the idea is that people pre-purchase packages and elements of the training program, and then before it's created. So
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So in the next couple of months, it will be created and then delivered.
Yeah. Okay. So how does Kickstart find the right people? That
they don't. You go to them. If you have an idea, you use that platform to.
And then how do you then go out to the people? Do you have to sort of say, okay, these are the people I want to target?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting, actually. I think I was a little bit, I knew I would have to promote the Kickstarter and really get it out there, but I don't think I realised the incredible amount of work involved in that. And I just have such an appreciation for it now. So it was a 30-day campaign, and it was just about reaching out to everyone I know, asking them to share it with their contacts, and just, pushing it, getting the word out there. I was able to be interviewed on Sky News and share there. So that really helped spread the word further. And
And so how hard is it for you to know? Because I know you never get over the loss of a child or of a stillbirth. 6 years on, how hard is it for you to, because you seem like you kind of got to be focused in that space, if that makes sense?
Yes. I do
manage that.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly has its challenges, and we just crossed over Xavier's 6-year anniversary on the 31st of January. So that was halfway through the Kickstarter campaign, and I struggled across those few days. And I do have moments of grief, and it feels challenging, but I just feel like a woman on a mission. So I think from the moment I became Xavier's mum, his little life and his death impacted me so significantly that I feel like he kind of put me in this space, and I've just been slowly working towards where I am now ever since he was born. And I guess part of it is about raising awareness, and I mean that's a huge part of it, obviously, but another part of it for me personally is about maintaining my connection with my son, and it's, I guess, a way that I can continue to parent him and love him in a way by working in his honour.
And he's allowed you to do something and become someone that would never have happened without him, right?
Absolutely.
Which is just, that's really special.
Yeah, it is. Really so I thank him for that. I really do. Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a team member, Jackie Jones. This is a shout out to you. If you're watching this, I know you will be in tears at this point, and that's okay. She's the emotional heart of the business that I run. So I know exactly how she'll be feeling about now. So that's you must be really proud of what you've achieved.
I do feel really proud, but I also feel like, yes, I'm proud of the amount of work that I've put in, but I don't feel like it's mine. I feel like there's just no way I would have done this, have been able to do this without on my own. I have a huge community of support behind me, and so it belongs to everyone who
that's nice,
been involved, including you, who's helping spread the word and showing interest. So
I think it's an incredible project, because I know it's one of those things that I've been through a lot of grief from a business perspective with various members of my team,
right?
And it's really hard as a business leader to know how to really navigate that well, because everybody does need something different from you, and sometimes you just don't feel capable, right, of delivering what they need.
I understand what you're saying, and I think the other important point there is that in a leadership role, if you're in that position of supporting people, you carry, I imagine you carry a lot of those stories with you now, and if you don't manage that effectively for yourself, that can also become quite heavy. And so it's about self-compassion for you in managing all those stories and carrying all that grief vicariously.
Yeah, that's so true. So in going out and promoting, Sky News and all those sorts of things, is that the person that you were before? Was that a comfortable thing for you to get out and push yourself to speak and to do things like this and be on the telly and all that?
No, absolutely not. No, it was really outside of my comfort zone. And I guess it's been a slow burn and slowly built up to this point. So now that I've had experience doing these things over the past 6 years, I'm feeling much more confident and much more comfortable.
Yeah.
But no, that's not who I was before. And I just think that's another thing I have to thank Xavier for, because he's taught me that, well, nothing will be as bad as, the day that I gave birth to him and had to say goodbye to my son. Nothing will hurt more than that.
Yeah.
And he just taught me how huge the universe is and how small I am, not in a self-derogatory kind of way, but just that, things that seem big in my mind really aren't that big in the scheme of the entire universe, which is pretty powerful. So that's what helps bring confidence, because I don't put too much weight on it for myself doing these types of things.
Yeah, that's great. I see so many people who don't do things because they're scared.
Yeah.
And it's like, how bad can it actually be?
Yeah.
So you go through some discomfort, but you, on the other side, as Oprah says, on the other side is where the magic happens.
Absolutely.
And so tell me, how's the response been so far?
Oh, incredible. I've been really blown away. So I've just received so many messages of support. People are sending it to their HR departments saying, I want this in my workplace. Obviously, a lot of that support is coming from bereaved parents who have had experiences and they want to see change as well.
Yeah.
But people who, don't even know me are reaching out and saying this is important and pledging money and sharing it with other people. And I received a message today actually saying, is this going to be available in the United States? And so, yes, that's pretty incredible.
That is exciting.
That's the dream. I need to get it out here in Australia, and then absolutely would love to keep going. Let me know anything I can do to help. I have got not a huge network, but I have got a network in the UK and in the US. So very happy to help if I can. Yeah.
So on that, how can people help?
I guess it's just about, one of the things they can do by the time this goes to air, the Kickstarter will be closed. It's closed in 24 hours.
Yep.
But the great thing about that is it's essentially a business plan. So it has a breakdown of what the training program is, the background behind it, what each of the modules are, and an overview of what's involved.
Yep.
And the statistics about baby loss here in Australia, information that came out of the Senate inquiry into stillbirth in 2018. So there's just everything there. All you need to know about the Baby Loss Project is there. So I would recommend reading that, sharing it with other people. And then when the training program is launched, aiming for end of May, hopefully even before then, purchase the training program, do the training program, tell people about it, share it, start being a contributor to this uncomfortable conversation and, just be willing to be on the forefront of this change.
Yeah, amazing. And so where do they find the Kickstart information?
So it's on my website,
which is
babylossproject.com.
Yep.
So that's probably the best place to go because everything's there, and there'll be a link to the Kickstarter in there and other information about the work I do there as well.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to share your story with us.
Thank you, Leanne. Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure. And please let me know once the training is happening in May, and I'll do what I can to get the information out again then too.
Yep, that would be wonderful.
Take care.
All right. Thanks so much.